we can't avoid this. Story of the sport that's nationally engaging everyone, even casual fans, is the Tampa Bay Rays are 13-0. They tie a modern day record. If they win tonight, no one's done it. 14-0 to start a season. They lead in basically every category. They have 32 home runs this season. They have allowed 30 runs, not home runs. They have 32 home runs. They've allowed 30 runs. They've allowed 6 homers. Our guy B. Lau, who was on a couple days ago, hit another homer. This is his 5th. They had a 7-run 5th inning. Jonesy is going to be the best team ever.
I mean, and if no, I mean, obviously they got up to a fantastic start. You play against them, you know they're just scrappy as hell. Um, they have such a pipeline of players. This young kid, Taj Bradley, just comes in,
Yep.
fills in. He's their number one prospect. I know he got sent back down. That's obviously for rotationals and days, whatever they need an arm. But he's filthy. Comes in 95, 97. I mean, they have just a plethora of arms. They have a plethora of talent. No one pays attention to them, but there's more fans showing up to their games right now. Like Rob said, there's a jolt to start the season for a lot of people, and they're playing good ball, man. And again, you play against them, you know they just annoying as hell, and especially playing at the Trop. The Trop sucks, but it sucks. I'm telling you, that place stinks. But they know how to play there. They always have had a good record there since '08 when Joe Madden took over and they started winning. So it's just a tough team. Obviously, this is unsustainable for a long haul, but it'd be cool to see him break the record. Records are meant to be broken, and it'd be great to see him break it. And again, there's always the saying you can't win the division in April, but you sure as hell can lose it. They look like they're on the way to not losing it, if you know what I mean.
All right, a couple more topics that I want to mix around here. This one, definitely to get your take, I'm interested in on the Tigers who are struggling right now. And Javy Baez yesterday forgot how many outs there were in the game. And the same thing happened for him, David Ross said in 2021. So AJ Hinch took him down to the tunnel, talked to him for a sec, took him out of the game. And we do have some quotes afterward from Baez, who he was running. So there was one out, and he's like, oh, I guess there's 2 outs, and ends up just keeps running, kind of just jogging over, and then they doubled him up. So he said, my mind is everywhere right now. I'm just trying to focus on hitting and my timing. The only reason I lost the count of the outs was because I was hitting 6th. I thought I was the 3rd batter in that inning. That's the only reason. And he said, and here it is. Anybody can make a mistake. At this point, the way we're playing and the way I'm playing, it's obviously going to be worse. If I'm hot and I have 7 homers and I make that same mistake, I would have stayed in the game. But I got no excuse. Do you agree, LoCain? If he's sizzling, do they keep him in or do they send a message?
You know, that's tough because I've been in that situation. I've been there. I forgot how many outs there were. I've made mistakes on the base. So that's tough because when you're not hitting, I promise you, that's all you're thinking about. When you're struggling, it eats at you more than anything. So I've been there. I get it. It's a tough spot to be in. But like I said, I understand the coach had to send a message and let the player know you can't let that happen. I think it's something that, hey, we bench him, we move on from it. He doesn't let it happen again. And to me, that's the end of it. So we move on from it. Just don't let it happen again. It's as simple as that for me.
Jonesy, what do you think? What would you do if you're AJ Hinch?
I mean, same. I like the way he did it. He took him underneath and did it. Just didn't send him back out there. Um, Obviously, Baez, he's struggling. He's in a big contract over there. He didn't have a good year last year. I'm sure he's trying to do a lot more than what he needs to do. Obviously, um, maybe Miggy needs to sit him down. I don't know if he has, and just talk to him. I mean, Baez is a hell of a dude, hell of a talent. Again, with his talent, you know, things like this just can't happen. They do happen. Kane, like you said, we all been in them situations. When you ain't hitting, man, whew,
It's tough.
it's some of the worst times. But again, you have to that's what makes the better player. That's why he got this big contract because the money tells me that look it, you have to separate this. And he's one of the best base runners in the game. So
Mhm.
that is an important out. right there. I mean, you've seen it. He's one of the best at eluding tags and all that stuff. But again, at the end of it, he said no excuse. He could have just said that to me. The rest of the stuff, I don't really care about it. You know, just like, hey man, look, it is what it is. I messed up. That ain't gonna happen again. My focus on this. And, you know, I don't need to say, you know what, if I was hitting or doing this. Hey, if I was hitting and I did the same thing, Buck would take my ass out too. So it ain't
Hmm.
about hitting. It's just like the situation. You know, that run is important. So manned up at it at the end.
Yep.
AJ did it right.
All right, so we do also have some extension news. Extension season continues. Logan Webb locks in 5 years, $90 million for the San Francisco Giants. Apparently, Bob Nightingale said there were months of negotiations going on, and the Giants have, you know, an upper echelon starter locked up for the long term. I mean, some have said this is like their modern day, because it was only like 10 years ago that Matt Cain was the man in San Francisco, but they're like, this is our Matt Cain. And not as good last year as the year before, but ground ball city, sinker slider, the changeups looked good too. Last year, especially doing something that not many starters do nowadays is not just go third time through the order, but be better third time through the order. So he has given up some harder contact this year and last year versus the year before, but Kratzy, like the deal?
I mean, I love the deal. Anytime anybody gets that kind of paper, anybody that gets LoCain type of money, I love it. Like it's like for him especially, I think it's something that it's a great. Anytime you can get money as a starting pitcher, yes, I understand position players are, you know, can get hurt. You know, you have some stability, but a pitcher, there's always a chance. There's always a chance. Like your injury, you injure that arm, your career is just going to go straight down. And I think Logan Webb, maybe some of the hard contact, I'll be interested to see how he does. You know, a sinker ball pitcher. The sinker has kind of come back in about the last 2 or 3 years. Everybody was top of the zone guy. And this guy's a legit sinker. He's a legit strike thrower. And I'm wondering how much of an adjustment hitters are going to make and what the adjustment's going to be. And if that adjustment is going to happen during his 5-year extension that he has. I think it's definitely going to be interesting. But playing in San Francisco, put the ball over the plate, let the fielders get the outs because it is not a very hitter-friendly park.